Wake up!
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Married to Film. Once again, I'm Ralph. This is Shamanda.
Hi, you
And
guys.
it's been a long time. We should have left you. Today, we're going to give our movie review for Birth of the Dragon.
What you getting ready to say?
End of the Dragon. Birth of the Dragon, directed by George Nolfi. He did The Adjustment Bureau, and he wrote on. He was a writer on the Born Ultimatum.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. He was a writer and he stepped it up, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So he's okay.
It's starring Philip Ng.
Philip Ng. We don't know how to pronounce it.
Right, and
Y'all tell us how to do it.
Ugia. I think these guys are big in China because none of in IMDb nothing says American movies about them. And
okay.
also starring Billy Magnuson. I remember him from the OJ story with Cuba Gooding Jr. played Kato. I knew he looked familiar. I couldn't place it at the time.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's get into it. Do you want me to begin, or do you want to begin?
No, I can figure that out.
Okay, cool. Okay, so this takes place in 1960 San Francisco. Bruce Lee, he's started up teaching kung fu to Americans, and I'm pretty sure all the Bruce Lee fans out there pretty much know the story. They didn't like him teaching kung fu to Westerners. So this is the story. Pretty much, the plot is about a fight that was supposed to have taken place behind closed doors, with like only a few people to see, between Bruce Lee and a Shaolin monk.
Master Wong.
Yeah, and I think it was inspired by that fight. I believe a lot of this stuff was embellished. I mean, this didn't seem. Some of it could have been okay, but I think a lot of it was embellished. That's just my opinion. But yeah, coming out of this movie, it made Bruce Lee seem like an arrogant jerk, and I didn't like it. I mean, not that I didn't like the movie. I thought the movie was okay. But what I'm saying, I didn't like him being portrayed like that. I know I've seen a lot of footage, and none of the footage I've seen has had him being like that arrogant. What about you?
Yeah, I don't like it. Because, I love Bruce Lee.
Right, Bruce Lee is that dude.
It was just some parts when they had a fight between him and another instructor of karate. And when they were doing it, was a lot of spectators, cameras were rolling and everything, and it made it seem like he was more of a superstar than he was of a master in his kung fu. And so he was really just starstruck. Well, not starstruck, but he was more trying to entertain versus trying to teach people about the style of kung fu.
Right.
And I think that was I don't know if that was the focus of it, but it was the focus of the film because Master Wong came for a different reason, but he also came to change Bruce Lee's way of thinking, of fighting.
Because they showed a scene of him filming a movie. They didn't say what movie it was, but he was just arrogant. I was like, man, if I didn't know who Bruce Lee was, I wouldn't like him. I'm like, this dude is just arrogant. It's all get out.
I mean, we didn't know him personally.
Right.
But it just seemed as if anybody was working with him, they'd have been like, this dude is a punk.
Right.
He's so arrogant.
Right.
And he's just so into himself.
Yeah,
he was
exactly.
like smelling himself.
Real bad.
Like, yes, he was the best. He was a legend.
He is a legend.
He was a legend in our eyes.
Yeah.
But he wanted to be known for other things versus a legend.
Right.
According to this movie.
Right.
Well, go ahead.
And speaking back to where the tournament, she was talking about the karate guy that he was facing. I don't know if it's from the same footage that I've seen. It's in black and white where he demonstrated the 1-inch punch. I don't know if that was from the same thing, but I don't remember it being that much talking when he was doing it.
Talking as in the way they portrayed Bruce Lee talking in this movie. He was talking a lot. Like he came out like. Did I do that?
He did like little Michael Jackson.
Yeah, wait, that's the way he came out. He was like, I'm here. The show can begin. Camera's on me. Let's go. Let's do this. And then it was like, well, like his whole demeanor was just so ugly.
Right,
it was ugly. And I was like, we were the only ones in the movie theater.
Yeah, we had it by ourselves.
So we had it by ourselves. So it didn't matter if we were loud. It doesn't matter anyway. We won't be loud anymore. But I was like, come on. We cannot keep going on. I don't want to watch this part because it was just too much. It was, you know how you watch stuff and people get on your nerves so bad, you just want to not look at it. You want to mute them, but in a movie theater you can't do that.
Right. So
it was like it was just too much. He was just way too over the top. He played the heck out of Bruce Lee, and there were some things that we were expecting to see and hear, but it didn't happen until later on in the film.
Okay, you picked up on it.
Yeah, I did. Oh yeah, that was the main thing that we did when we were little.
Right, exactly. Like, come on, man. You got to do that from jump. You can't wait till the final act.
So what we're talking about is the whole Bruce Lee noises.
Come on, man. You got to do that from the beginning.
And
whoa, all that. Final act. That's when they first did it. I'm like, okay, come on, man.
He was like the Serena Williams in them in Kung Fu.
There you go. I like that.
That was good.
That's good.
Oh, God. He was he did the whole noise because karate style, you're supposed to be humble. You're supposed to be there's a certain technique, and they did explain a lot in this. It almost made you want to go and fight.
Yeah, karate movies do.
It make you want to go and take some lessons, but you ain't
gonna last that long.
I lasted one day. I lasted one day.
All
I just
right.
went with Yvette.
Okay.
When she went, and he was like, "Punch me," and I was like, "Okay," and I swung at him and I missed. And he knocked me down.
Wow.
And I was like, I don't like this thing. So I never went back. This movie was awesome, though.
Yeah. Billy Magnuson, he played Steve McKee.
Yeah.
And he was kind of like.
He got on my nerves.
He got on my nerves a little bit.
I got him right.
He ended up jocking the Xi'an monk, pretty much being on his jock.
He betrayed. To me, it seemed like he betrayed. In the movie it said you can't have two masters. So he went behind Bruce Lee's back because I guess he was tired of what he was getting, and he wanted to rescue the little girl that was being enslaved.
It's always over a female.
Okay, it's always that was the underlining of the story.
Right.
That wasn't the main reason why it started in the beginning. It said that this movie was for the simple reason of that fight.
Yeah.
So they may embellish a whole lot. We don't know. We don't know anything about the story behind it. But we do know that there are a lot of Asian women that were in San Francisco against their will.
Right.
That is a true thing. And so they had them working in the restaurants and they had them working in houses. You know what that is. Against their will. To pay off their debt. Their debt was being transported from China to America. So whatever that debt was, there's no money behind that.
Right.
But they had to pay off their debt.
Yeah. And it was like they had Bruce Lee like being arrogant towards the monk dude, like, get this dude to fight me. He ain't nothing. Yada yada yada. That got on my nerves. But besides that,
he was acting like sure enough.
Yeah. I wish I had that shirt on.
He was acting like
showed up. Yeah. Like, yeah, that is perfect.
Catching bullets
with his teeth. Who's the last dragon?
Yeah. I think it's the last dragon.
Yeah. Oh, that's
that was. I mean, it was a lot of. I liked the movie. It was really good.
I liked it. I'm gonna give it a B-52. Only because I think, as far as fighting and action is concerned in karate films now, ever since Ip Man or IP Man, I see things totally differently. That is like, it's up here. Anything that don't come close to that is just gonna be down here. Because that movie, Donnie, I think that guy's name was Donnie Chen or Donnie Yen, something like that. He played in Rogue One. He was amazing, man. And so he just changed my whole focus. So anything that doesn't compare to that, is gonna be down here. I thought it was a good movie. I like some of the choreography, but to me, some of the choreography looked a little dancey. Like, okay, I'm gonna do this, then you do that. I'm gonna do that. You do this. It was kind. It looked too to me. It looked too obvious that it was a choreographed dance. You know what I mean? But other than that, them Jokers was awesome though. I thought. Oh my bad, on because I don't want to give away this one part. But
go ahead. It's been out for 2 weeks.
Okay. But it was this one part where they was towards the end where he got scratched on the stomach like Enter the Dragon, and he tasted the blood. And we both
he was ready.
We both was like, they gonna do it. So I like that part a lot.
Bruce Lee.
Yeah. Typical Bruce Lee fans. Oh man.
Like
yeah.
you taste your own blood and you ready to
now
fight.
Now you ready to fight.
Now you're gonna die. You gotta bleed first.
Oh man, but yeah, I'm gonna give it a 52.
I'm not ready to rate it yet, but
okay.
There was a couple of parts in the movie where you will feel like it was the choreography for the fighting scenes and everything. They was like, doing this and doing this and doing this and doing that. I think that the reason why it was so looked like it was rehearsed or it looked like it wasn't natural is because they actually have stunt people to do it. When you have people that are actually doing their own scenes, then it seems real, and it depends on the shots because we've learned if you have one shot like Creed, it seems like it's really happening because it's one shot. But when you have one shot, you got to stop. One shot, you got to do this, you got to do this. So it does look like, and then they probably went to another shot.
True.
So it just seems like it was, a couple of seconds in between each hit, rather than if you fighting somebody, it ain't gonna be no couple of seconds. You just going in it, right? So it just felt like it was like the shots. Well, it might have been more than one shot that was happening during that time. I wanted to see the movie for the action, and it wasn't a lot of action.
It really wasn't.
So I'm disappointed in that because it was kung fu. It was supposed to be kung fu based. But their style, he said it was different style. It was I got it. Wait. It was hold on. Oh, well so he went back into the Chinese martial arts. It was what the thing was, they wanted only Chinese people to know the art. They didn't want anybody else to know it. So it was when Bruce Lee came to America and he was teaching everybody from, I don't want to say China. Well, yeah, everyone from China was more or less did not want that to be taught because they wanted to keep it amongst themselves. But he was half American, half Chinese. He said his grandmother was white.
Yeah.
And when they found out about that, things changed for him teaching or him learning. He was young for him learning that style, but it was called the Jeet Kune Do.
Kundo.
Jeetkunedo. Jeet Kune
Kundo.
That one. I'm so sorry. Probably jacked that one all up. That was the style that he learned eventually, that he was taught after this lesson from this movie.
Yeah, flow like water.
I like that.
Yeah. I remember all those. I don't want to say lessons, but I remember seeing stuff him talking about, just flowing like water.
Yeah, with all the interviews and stuff. Yeah. So all the interviews that he had. If you're a Bruce Lee fan, he did have a lot of interviews, a lot of documentaries.
Documentaries.
See, I can't say it. I can't either. There was a lot of things that were caught on camera.
Right.
From him talking about his style, his fighting style, people were interested in what he did because they never seen anything like that. Now we watched the Chinese, the kung fu fighting and everything else, but Bruce Lee was an expert in what he did, and it was just him by himself. He didn't have like just him and the whole, but he taught because he had a school. He taught people how to do it, and very successful school at that. Right. So it wasn't just the movies with him.
Exactly. You know what? One thing they did overlook: no wife, no kid, no
nothing. He mentioned it.
Oh, okay.
He did.
That went over my head then. Okay.
He mentioned it because he said something about not teaching white Americans. He said, "Well, when he went back and he was like, well, my grandmother was." He said, "And my wife is too."
Okay, I missed that.
Yeah.
Okay.
He did mention that because it was older. He was older in
Right.
this movie, 1969.
Yeah, it was somewhere around there.
Yeah. So it was a good film. I don't know
Mhm.
about the rating. I would like to give it a B-52 because it is Bruce Lee, but however, I'm still thinking cheesesteak
Okay.
because
I
I
can see
wanted
that.
more fighting,
I did
and
want
I was
more.
upset that I was like, you remember I said I hope there's no subtitles,
Yeah.
and it was because I had to put my glasses on and I didn't want to do that. So it was like, but it wasn't a lot of subtitles because it was a lot of Chinese Americans that were learning how to speak English at the time, and they were doing it very well. But they were doing it. They were not allowed to speak English. They weren't allowed to learn the native tongue from where they were. Native tongue. Where they were brought to. They were not allowed to speak to Americans. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
And I think that's true. Yeah. I think that part is true.
I wouldn't doubt.
I mean, it's just like slavery. They wasn't allowing
especially
blacks
to
learn English.
The sect of Asians, Chinese Americans we were dealing with in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
San Francisco.
In Chinatown.
In Chinatown. But yeah.
Yep. So that's our take on it. Let us know what you think. Don't forget you can hit us up on Instagram and Twitter at Married to Film. Do we have any shout outs this week?
Shout out to those football players that we have in our circle.
Yes.
All those that are going back to school and fighting. The Wolverines. The little bitty ones.
Right.
That are playing now. The 5, 6, and 7-year-olds that are playing now. Shout out to Nigel, our nephew. He's doing big things in the football world.
Y'all can look him up on YouTube. His name is Nigel Dutton. Dunton. He's going to be nice.
He is sweet. Yeah. So,
you know what? I'll put his link down there.
Oh, yeah. And Malik Lowe, our godson. He's playing basketball. He's been playing basketball all of his life since he was in the womb. Yeah. Yeah, you can look him up on YouTube as well. I'm pretty sure he has a link, though.
Don't forget to like, share, subscribe.
Tell a friend or two.
Tell a friend or two.
All right.
We love y'all. We'll see you next time.
Yes. Thanks for joining. Love you guys. Bye-bye.